to Friday, 7:30 in the morning to 10:30. Gerry Coyle of you're the chairman of the Dromlane and Quayside Community Association, Gerry. You're very welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here, Rowan.
Good
Once again, I think this is my second time.
It is. Well, let's make it more than your second
yeah.
time. Let's keep coming.
I'm becoming a feature.
Well, as the Scottish fellows, our friends up the road would say, haste ye back always, and that's a good way to start. But you're preparing at the moment, on a personal level, for another adventure off across the world.
Yeah, well, I'm seeing this I plan to go next June to North Africa to go up the three highest mountains there. I mean, in need of vaccine cancer, which all cancer organisations do excellent work. And so it might be my last track. I keep saying that every year. It's going to be my last track because it's something that's in my blood. I enjoy the adventure, enjoy the challenge. More importantly, enjoy helping charitable organisations.
Tell people where you've been so far.
I don't want to bore people where I've been so far.
No, people won't be bored. People will be interested, I assure you.
I don't want to be up here to be on an ego trip. Well,
not at all.
My first track was in Peru. I went to Machu Picchu. The following year, I went to Everest Base Camp. I spent 21 days in the Himalayas. The year after that, I reached the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. The year after that, I spent 10 days walking through the Sahara Desert. All these are for charity. The year after that, I went on the Great Wall of China.
My goodness.
The year after that, I went into the Grand Canyon. Then Cuba. Then what I did is, in between all that, you can see it is, I done a 13,500 parachute jump for an organisation that very few people are aware of. It's the anaphylaxis campaign that promotes and helps people with nut allergies and things like that. And coupled with that, there I've been up Ben Nevis 4 times.
Yes.
I tend to use Ben Nevis now as part of a training program. It used to be it was my pig. But it's be sleeved on.
But I was going to say to you, all of this presupposes a very high level of fitness.
Exactly. I mean, usually it takes at least 6 months to prepare yourself. Fitness-wise, there's no sense. I'm not saying you don't have to. If you're not fit, you won't do it. But obviously, if you are fit, you make it a lot easier. And if you're undertaking any challenge in life, the easier it is, the more you're going to enjoy it. What I'm saying is, there's some of them there, particularly in getting to the summit of Kilimanjaro. I mean, there's times you just think you're not going to make it because I think it's near 20,000 feet. The altitude is unbearable at times. You know, you're fainting and dizzy. You're very disorientated, but you push yourself, and that's all about these challenges. And there's hundreds of people throughout that I know of that do these on a regular basis. So I'm no different from them.
No, but you're all a group of good people.
I think is the mindset is when you're doing this sort of thing is you just want to help others. I mean, it's built into your mindset, and I would like to think it goes back to my childhood, the way I was brought up and reared. That I mean, my mother and father.
You were very much an ordinary, so to speak, Yuri person.
I was an ordinary sort of.
And I say that to you on the basis that you and I have a shared memory of Coke from the gasworks.
Yes, I do. It's a memory that it doesn't leave my mind. I say this. I often tell my children and grandchildren about the memory of Coke. That very few people, except my generation and older generations, would know what I'm talking about. Going down to the gasworks every week to get a bag of Coke. And the reason why you done that because money was tight and it was a cheaper option. But to me, being a child, I loved the glow of the Coke. For some reason, I loved the smell of it. But when you were 11 or 12 years of age, you were walking down from Dromlane into what was then the steam packet shed, which you would know where was down there at the base. And you went in, you got a loan of a wheelbarrow, you went out, left there, on down the Point Road, put on your bag of Coke, back home, and back down with the wheelbarrow again. So
it's a double run. It
was a double run, and I'm saying this is what I'd like to think is the same way as that most people think. It does you no harm. You know, you enjoyed it at the time, and it stands you in good stead as you're going through life. You know, I mean, one, you realise where you came from. Two, you know, I mean, it puts things into perspective of what you're saying. And it was happiness. I mean, I see this before. And the thing is, I mean, some people may say, I wouldn't want to do it. I said, no, I would do it if I was a child again.
Yeah, of course you would, and I would too. I remember in the Scout Hall we used to burn the Coke. We were in Customs House Avenue, next door to the gasworks. and we would burn the coke in there. It was lovely. Memories are made of this.
That's what I'm saying.
It's good
and
stuff.
they're all good memories.
And significantly in those days, it was the kind of place where the fellows in the big shed would have given you a loan of the wheelbarrow, confident that it would come back.
Well, the advantage that you had then is my father was a doctor then.
So you were
and
known.
So I was known. I was well known through my father's relationship with the doctor. That's what makes me then later on, as you know, in life I became a doctor, so I'm a third generation doctor. So I have a strong connection, strong love with the basin and the canal for those reasons. And just as important as the fact is, where I live in Drumlane, it's within our neighbourhood.
Yes.
It's part of our area in more ways than one. So I always had, like everybody around, I had a strong connection with.
Absolutely.
With the towns.
My first memories of Newry, my father of a Sunday morning would have walked me down. We lived in 44 Mary Street, and he would have taken me down there. And we've gone up the gangplank and jumped down onto the iron hull of the boat, and you would have heard the bong as you jumped onto it, and then the bells of the cathedral ringing out for the 12 o'clock mass, and actually seeing the boats, the coal boats, quiet for the weekend there in the basin. Those were good memories.
You couldn't beat them.
You couldn't beat them at all. Now, you're intimately involved in the creation of and the ongoing success of the Drumlane and Quayside Community Association, chairman at the moment. This has got to be one of the iconic success stories of public housing in this part of the world. It all started and grew more successful as the years went by.
Well, see, if you don't mind, I'll give you a brief history of that. As when I started doing community work, I think it's 29 years ago, and every year I keep saying I'm going to stop, and every year I'm asked not to stop. And I do it because you love it. You love helping your community. There's no agendas. You don't do it for any financial reward.
Not
You don't
at
get
all.
it.
No.
Because I keep saying to people is it costs you money to be a community worker through various expenses and stuff. You're right. But started that there, and then as time progressed, not there as we were responsible for, along with ours, for what was once Fadden Park being regenerated to what was now the Housing Executive's flagship into Quayside Close, which is an absolutely brilliant estate, and it's the pride and joy of the Housing Executive. And then, of course, we have the long history of Drumlane, which was started in 1950, completed in 1952, and the history of that, like our areas over the years, it was good and bad, but there was always a strong community spirit. And particularly in Drumlane Park, my neighbours knew neighbours yet. As you know yourself, as your door was left wide open.
Absolutely.
We all walked past, we'd say hello to each other and things. But then things took a low ebb during the late 80s, and then we had a while getting things back to where we are today and we've been this last few years. The community spirit's absolutely unbelievable road, both in Drumlane and Quayside Close. It's neighbour helping neighbour. And getting on for the betterment of our community. And that's both young and old. Absolutely. And I want to pay a tribute to the young people that I know. We engage with the young people more so than ever because it's important that you do, because if you don't, you isolate them, and that's not the right way to go about things. You must encourage them to be part of what you're doing. So we're very hopeful for the future. We had recently, during the summer, an absolutely brilliant community festival. One of the best seen in the area in decades, and has been widely praised and recognised by statutory agencies, by residents, and even people from outside our area.
Yes.
And that's what we like to do, is we like to take people in to be part, and we embrace all aspects of society.
From a very, very early moment in the life of your community, the contact with the Keys and Dr. Gerard O'Hare was very, very strong.
Well, very few people know this here. I first met Gerry O'Hare in 1991. He came into our community and he taught about that's. I'm not too sure. It's 10 years before the Keys was even started, and we were wondering who this person was, a businessman coming in it, and you were saying, what's he going to do? And since then, the amount of work that he's done for our community is unbelievable. Very few people know it. Inside our community, the vast majority outside the community is very few. He's always been there for us, both him and the Keys. And it's people may say that's because of the Keys. No, I can stand here or sit here, shall I say, and say categorically, 10 years before the Keys came into operation, he was there through business in the community. And the relationship we have with the Keys and Park of Green is, to me, it's the most perfect example of business and the community working together in partnership. It's a two-way process. What they do for us, for example, Gerard has set up a CSR initiative as, you know yourself, corporate social responsibility, which gets myself and all people involved into meeting businesses throughout the Keys complex. What's best, working in partnership, and it's not all about funding. Funding's good. The most important thing is about training and job creation programs, thinking of the future for people, particularly young people, and that's what we're sad about. And can I also add that the Keys help us with, they give us a donation every year that helps us with various projects, and running at Christmas. They put on Christmas things with visit the Santa in the Keys and that thing. And Gerald, I'm sorry, some people might disagree, but I know I'm not here to champion the cause of Gerald
telling it as it
or
is.
the Keys or Park or Green. I'm just saying how it is. Life has greatly improved for not just our community, but our community group is as a result of them. And as we know, they've created 3,000 jobs. I mean, that says it all to me. There's 3,000 jobs.
Absolutely. But listen, that's wonderful, and I mirror your experience, because long before anything, Gerard O'Hare was involved with me in the work in Africa, where we were building schools, and every year at this time, when Santa arrives in the Keys give Santa £500 to go out to the African schools. So for the last 12 years, that's been happening.
Can I dress up as Santa this year? You'd be £500. I don't think
You'd
so.
want it for your
I don't know.
causes.
It'll help me go to Africa in June.
You bring to Africa.
But you're saying, as I'm saying,
all the time.
I don't want to be saying I'm champion. I'm not doing it, Gerald O'Hare. I'm saying if there's
no.
faults there with them, trust me, I'm the one. People who knows me throughout the years, know Gerry, Coyle, he can be critical, and I have been critical of people in the past. But the most important example is we're now in the process of hopefully getting a new community centre. We're funding
How's that happening?
It's with 2 funding applications in now. I don't want to be mentioning who they're into, because I don't want to be putting those people under pressure after this programme. But before you have their funding application and it's acceptable, you must have what we call the jigsaw pieces all in place. That's your community consultation, permission from Newry Mourne District Council, and to their credit, they've been fantastic in helping us through this in entire process. But more importantly, you need planning approval, because you're not going. You've got to have everything done. If you haven't got planning approval for where you're putting your community centre, you're not getting anything.
Yeah.
So we had difficulty in saying about finding an architect, because obviously they're very expensive and different. We don't have that expertise. So we asked Gerald O'Hare and Park and Green, can they help us out? And through the forum, they provided us with their architects. Michael
Delahunt, local man.
From Delahunt Design. They helped us and drew up the plans, not just content with that, done everything. We had the likes of Colleen Savage, the planner in the Keys, or in Park of Green. She's been working tirelessly on our behalf. So now they put all this into place and continue with that there. And then 2 weeks ago, I think it was, that we got planning approval.
Wow.
So it's happy days. As we say, we're shovel ready. Just give us the money.
Give it, and we'll build.
We'll build, because we're in
you mentioned Michael there, because when I needed, people in India when I was there said to me, Rowan, we need a bridge in this village, because every time the rains, the monsoons come, the old structure's washed away and people can't get back and forth to hospital and all the rest of it. So, lo and behold, Michael designed the bridge. And Michael's work of design is in from all the way across from the Keys to India, to Chennai, and that's there built. And also designed and built for the building are 2 schools in sub-Saharan Africa.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he was involved in that.
Oh yeah, he did both occasions. Listen, we're going to take a break, and stay with me. Back with you presently. We're with Gerry Coyle from the Drummalane and Quayside Community Association. Back in a moment.
Destination Newry. We're back in moments.
It's here in the heart of modern Newry. The Rug House, an emporium of retail optimism in a city that's emerged from recession and is growing fast. Jobs, sales, the future. It's all here at the Rug House, and it's a business that has grown from the most humble beginnings. Stephen and Claire Vallely from County Armagh, educated here in Newry, and are now bringing home the bacon in the form of jobs and an enhanced economy. They are the people behind the Rug House. And so, for the Rug House, the future seems set fair. Stephen and Claire know indeed the value of hard work, and know too that indeed it brings its own good fortune. Clearly, for the Rug House, the future beckons.
Ted's Carpets Newry have a large selection of carpets, vinyl, wooden floors, solid, semi-solid, laminate floors and all flooring accessories. All for you to see in our showroom. Based in Newry, our staff have over 50 years of experience in the carpet and flooring industry and will be only too glad to help you choose the right floor covering that suits your needs and your pocket. Don't forget our furniture department, where we stock sofas, beds, bedroom furniture and everything else your home will need. Looking for a genuine bargain? Give Ted a shout. You won't be disappointed. Distance is no object. No job too big or too small. Commercial and domestic. Unit 1, Carney Hall Business Park, Rathford Island Road, Newry. Telephone 028 308 25782. Check out tedscarpetsnewry.com.
Down to Max for fresh food at great prices. We deliver free to local businesses and schools, and we also deliver to the local area for a small charge of £3. So come down to us now.
Paul Coulter Fitness. Eating plans, weigh-in, measuring. Get yourself into shape for Christmas. Start your classes now. Kettlebells, power bags, circuits, bodyweight exercises, boxing and much more. So work out now. Classes Monday to Saturday. Monday 6:15 p.m. and 7:15. Tuesday and Wednesday 6:30 p.m. Thursday 7:15 p.m. Friday 6 p.m. and Saturday mornings at 9:45 a.m. Monthly deals available. Get started now. All newcomers welcome. Paul Coulter Fitness is located at 51 Downshire Road, Newry. Email pcfitnesspolcoulter@gmail.com. Telephone 077 66 517 044.
You've reached your destination.
Yeah, Destination Newry. It is the morning programme. I'm Rowan Hand. This is Gerry Coyle. Gerry's from the Drummalane and Quayside Community Association, doing great things down there. Planning permission just received for their new community centre, and funding applications moving along nicely, and it's all coming into focus as we speak.
Yes.
Gerry, it's a successful organisation down there. You're good people.
It is, as I was one saying, is that the most important thing is that you have community support, which is obviously very important for any community group. There's 18 people in our committee now. There's 2 of them associated members and 16 full-term, since the AGM. Basically what we're doing was also important, we're taking in new blood, new people, probably some people who were in the community group years ago who've decided to come back, and that's very important and strength in number. But what's very relevant is that as a community group now is becoming professional, committed and professional, as they're able, we've even undertaken lobbying skills to help us with, as lobbying elected representative, different other things, to get things done, and I'm absolutely delighted with that there. So we're moving forward in the right direction. Everything's positive. Obviously, the most important thing that we're looking forward to over the years is this new community building, because not only do we need it, we deserve it, because we have not. And if you've seen, which I'm sure you did, the wide open space that we have in Drumlane playing fields, there's nothing there. And I've been quoted on numerous occasions saying we don't even have a single swing, we don't have a slide, we have a population in excess of 700 people to cater for, but with nothing for them. We don't, and that's
what difference will the community, the new centre, make? Like
all people who have experience with a community centre, it's going to be the focal point of the community. It's a place where people can meet. It's a place where people can socialise. We can have numerous activities already prior to our application. We've consulted with the community. We've also consulted with people outside the community, which is very important, who will come in. The likes of Sure Start says they will come in and do projects within our areas. There's our organisations similar to them will be doing the same thing. And it's the key to this, it will be so important to the young people. Now, I'm sure everybody will agree is the most important people to address. Obviously, the elderly are residents, but as the young people, because particularly during the winter months, they're fed up. There's nothing to do. There's nowhere to go. Summer, obviously, the same as, and they'll tell you that they're bored. So we want to give them an alternative of walking around with being totally bored all the time, and let them engage with things. We've believed this last few years that it's important that not only do you engage with the young people, but you take them on board and let them feel part of it, let them feel, give them a sense of ownership. And we are working now with Parkview Football Club, and they'll also be involved in, obviously any new community centre.
It strikes me too that there can be an intergenerational thing here. The young people, strong and healthy and community orientated, working within the community to help the older folk and develop some kind of strand there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And to my knowledge, there's some young people do that now. But unless you have what we call a base to work from, and when you have a base, also it attracts other funding for more future community development. Once organisations with funders or any agency sees that, they'll say there's a success story, we're going to add to it. And there's a lot of things we need to do. As I'm saying is, we have the most important thing that you need, land, plenty of it, an abundance of it, but it's been just land there is going to waste. And we want to utilise that to its full potential through a new community building. That's for all the people in Drumlane and Quayside Close. Now, I know most people in Drumlane and Quayside Close, and they know me. And I'm not saying we're all friendly, but we know each other. And it's an absolutely brilliant community. And I know people, obviously I'm coming from a bad point where they're living in Quayside Close, they're living in Drumlane Park. There's a gelling of togetherness in there, and as the history shows, particularly in Drumlane, it's family orientated. And even though there's new people coming in, they know they're coming into a warm community.
And you're standing on the shoulder of giants who have gone before you. You're moving forward.
That's exactly it, and moving in the right direction.
Gerry, you'll come back to me again, because you and I are going to talk about something on a constant basis from Drumlane.
So you're turning around saying this, you want me this to be a regular spot, did you?
It will be. You'll be most welcome, because Drumlane has a story. It could be called Through a Glass Darkly, looking back at the stories of Drumlane over the years.
I think I'm glad you say that, because I go on about the history of Drumlane, and I'm very proud of our history, where we go through to the maritime history, we go through well before we go through the John Mitchell, we go through all the Drumlane Mill, the distillery.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stories, and more importantly, there's nobody better to tell that than people of a certain generation who have
Absolutely.
stories there, but they want a medium to go and tell it, and they're absolutely fantastic stories.
You have the medium now.
Okay, thanks
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you
God
very
bless
much. It
you.
was a
Go
pleasure.
well. Gerry
Thank you.
Coyle of the Drumlane and Quayside Close Community Association.
Destination Newry. Keep it on. We're back.